Greetings, fellow sinners. This is a response to Godlesshayes, so I'm going to link his video right here for you. It'll also be in the underbar if for whatever reason that's not working. Check it out. This will make a lot more sense if you watch that first. So, you know, about 6 or 7 years ago, most of the people in this country were talking about whether invading Iraq had been a good idea. We hadn't found the weapons of mass destruction that were promised. And, thousands of American soldiers were losing and were still losing their lives, and hundreds of thousands of Iraqis were dead. Al-Qaeda were streaming in from all over the place. So there was a big debate in this country as to whether that was a good idea or not. From Godlesshayes' point of view, it was just a bad idea, period. There was no logic from the get-go. It was all, we should have done it in the first place. Forgetting that hindsight is 20/20. We're talking about the same president that ignored some intelligence that was gathered, and in his ignoring of that intelligence, we lost the Twin Towers. So at the same time, if those same people come to him with some intelligence that Iraq is building up stockpiles of weapons of mass destruction, and he doesn't act, again, what happens? Now, I know, every liberal that's watching this right now is like, well, he just went to war for oil, that's all he wanted was their oil. Or he was finishing his daddy's war. And, really, is that all the best you can do? Because, first of all, what oil have we taken? As far as I know, if anybody's profiting from this Iraq oil thing, is the Iraqis. It's theirs. They're still selling it. They're still reaping the benefits of the profit. I don't believe that for a second. And secondly, if it was his daddy's war that he was going to finish, why are we still there 5 years after Saddam Hussein was killed? I mean, we could pull out and come home, and that'd be it. His beef would have been with Saddam Hussein. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that rhetoric. But beyond that, Hayes started his videos saying the same thing, saying that everybody was talking about 6 or 7 years ago how bad of an idea it was to fight the Iraq war. And then went on to say how that represents a problem in America. And this is where he and I totally disagree. Totally disagree. Because it's not a problem with America that we had intelligence and acted on it. It's not a problem with America that we did our best to defend ourselves. The problem is that there was some kind of ideology that maybe we weren't privy to from the president himself, from the person... I'm sorry, I forgot. Congress voted him the power, including several Democrats, voted him the power to go do so, to start the war with Iraq. While we were already at war with Afghanistan looking for Osama bin Laden. So what I see, that is not a problem with an ideology of America. That is a problem between liberals and Democrats. That has nothing to do with America, American exceptionalism, or anything like that. Hayes made an entire video to me based on a comment that I left on Latham Way's video about American exceptionalism, and Latham was very nice to America. He said that, he understands patriotism, and Latham's a laid-back guy, so he's not going to bash somebody or whatever. And Hayes, on the other hand, is a little bit different. But excuse me, I'm just getting over a pretty bad strep throat here. I left a comment very tongue-in-cheek on Latham's video, because when I comment on Latham's videos, when I comment on anybody that makes a majority of their videos humorous, it's because I'm trying to make them laugh. I try to make everybody laugh once in a while, but to me it's like a challenge to. It's like making a thinker think. You make a jokester laugh. That's the challenge. So what I said on Latham's video was tongue-in-cheek and was meant solely to get Latham to laugh, and I'm assuming he did, because his response was that my comment was over the top, but he appreciated it anyway. So, assuming mission was accomplished, no pun intended. I also made a serious misspelling or misuse of tense there when I was going to word it differently, ended up wording it the way that I did, and didn't re-edit myself before I posted it. The point still got across, but the comment was this. I said, yeah, dude, America sucks. All this opportunity, and then I said all these hope. I had meant to say all these something else, I don't remember now, but I changed it to, I was going to say all this hope. All these possibilities just totally suck. I, for one, will not be happy until we take every last frickin' dollar from the wallets of those rich scumbags that worked hard to earn it and spread it fairly to those who need 6 or 7 days off per week. It's not our fault that we pumped out more kids than we can afford to feed. It's the rich white man that keeps me in my rut. I say Stalinist Russia had it exactly right. And then I put sarcasm off the reprieve. So that's the comment. And if you're reading that and you can't tell that that's sarcasm, even after I said sarcasm, then there's little hope for you as far as that goes. But Hayes took exception to this. For some reason, this was a big deal for him. I mean, there was probably close to 1,000 comments on Lathem's video, and somehow mine stuck out to him. First of all, had I known this was going to be the subject of another Godlesshayes video, I probably would have corrected the spelling there. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with Godlesshayes' entire video, is that from beginning to end, he doesn't even bring up my comment until 6 minutes into the video. He spends the first 5.5 minutes not even talking about anything that has anything to do with that comment, period. He's going on and on about fire departments. It sounds to me like he's looking for, that God's guns, guts, and glory hillbilly that sits there polishing his gun, reading his Bible, and saying George Bush is God. And sorry, dude. I mean, I know that's who you want me to be, and I know maybe sometimes I may share an ideal with that person, but dude, that ain't me. If you don't understand that, if you don't get that, well, then maybe you need to either watch more of my videos or just stop watching them altogether, because I'm not your huckleberry. So, but secondly, as far as that comment goes, I don't even... You go on and on about how that's part of the problem, but you never really define the problem. And then you say you don't know what the solution is, but you know that you're not part of it. What is the problem? Is the problem that there are patriotic Americans? Is that your issue? Is that there are people that live here that would say, yeah, I'd rather live here than any other country in the world? Yeah, I enjoy the freedom I have here. I enjoy the freedom to make and spend money. I enjoy the opportunity. I enjoy when I'm down in a rut that there is always hope to get out of that rut. Is that the problem? You got to do a better job explaining this to me, because you go on and on about what does America do that it's exceptional. What do we do that nobody else does? Well, exceptional doesn't always mean doing something nobody else does. It just means doing something better than everybody else does. I mean, Joe Montana was an exceptional quarterback, but he still was a quarterback. There's millions of quarterbacks in the world in different leagues and all over the place. So exceptionalism isn't always about what you do different. It's about what you do better. And I thought of like 3 things off the top of my head, and I just went to look them up to see. I looked at the top 100 universities in the world. The top 100. 54 of the top 100 universities in the world are right here in America. By contrast, all of Europe combined, all of Europe has 33. So we're 21 ahead of Europe in the top 100, all of Europe, okay? 63 of the top 100 hospitals in the world are in America. That's 2/3. That's almost 2/3 of the best 100 hospitals are in America. When you talk about American exceptionalism, it's not that Americans think that we're superior to other people. I don't think that I'm a better person than a Frenchman because I'm an American. Or I don't think I'm a better person than somebody else because I'm an American. American exceptionalism is about the American ideal. It's about the concept of people governing themselves, and that their government has a strict list of rules and rights that they cannot, under any circumstance, take away from its people. that there are guaranteed freedoms that under no circumstances are supposed to be allowed to be taken away from you. Does that mean people won't try? Sure. Of course people will always try to take your rights away. Of course people will always grab for power, and those that get a little bit want more, and those that have more, I mean, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that saying is there for a reason, and it's because if you look at any place, in any time, in any history of any country, you'll see that somebody with power wanted more and did everything they could to get more. But the way our society is set up, we are set up to limit the power of an individual's reign over other people. And if somebody does have power over you, it would have to be because you gave it to them, not because they took it from you. In a free speech loving society, we're obviously not always going to agree on whether or not a specific ideal was upheld by a certain politician or a group of politicians. But the American ideal is the fact that we can proclaim in a loud voice, and loud enough to be heard, and for others to hear us and to join with us when somebody does wrong. And that's when a politician does wrong. If you didn't like George Bush taking America to war with Iraq, the war with Iraq is not the concept of American exceptionalism. The fact that you can sit at home and scream about it loud enough that the guy wouldn't get reelected or get somebody else elected in his place next time to fix things. That's the concept of American exceptionalism. I mean, I don't know what you didn't clarify what the problem that you have with America. I can tell you some of the problems that I see. I mean, I don't know how long YouTube allows us to make videos now, but I can point out a few problems. When you want equality, for instance, when you want everybody to be equal, everybody should be on the same playing field. Why would you want to tax one person more than another? Now you're saying X person is not equal to Y. And that's why we tax percentage-wise. You know, 10% of my income and 10% of your income. It might be a different number. You know, the total dollar amount might be different, but at the end of the day, it's still 10%. And the problem, and one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest fallacies of left-wing politics, one of the biggest straw man arguments is when somebody says the gap between the rich and poor is just getting bigger. All right. Say, Hayes, you make $100,000 a year, and I make $10,000 a year, right? I get a 20% raise. All right, I get $2,000 raise a year. I get 20%, so now I'm making $12,000, right? You, on the other hand, get a 3% raise. So now you're making $103,000. Well, the gap between us just got wider. Even though your raise was significantly more of your income than mine. We both got raises. Both of our standards of living can go up. Maybe not at that 2% or whatever, but our incomes have increased. So you're going to tell me that there's a problem there? That the guy that made $10,000 a year just got a 20% raise, but the gap between the rich and the poor just got bigger, and that's the problem. No. That's not the problem. The problem is that you worry about other people too much. You worry about how much better somebody's doing than you instead of trying to do better yourself. And if you can't do better yourself, not maybe just you, but I'm talking like liberalism in general, if you can't figure out how to do better, well, somebody owes it to you. So they have to give it to you because you couldn't do it yourself. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I believe in personal responsibility. I believe in that you stay out of my house and I'll stay out of yours. I believe that, you know, the only responsibility constitutionally that our government has to take money from us is to provide for the military, the common defense. Not provide for the general welfare, promote the general welfare. That means when you're talking to the rest of the world and when you're talking to your people, you're supposed to say and do things that promote the welfare of everybody. And when you say that somebody's 2% raise as opposed to somebody's 20% raise is widening the gap between the rich and the poor, well, it's a straw man argument, and that's all there is to it. And then in that same respect, you went on a diatribe about the guy that made $25 an hour and just got fired and lost his health care and benefits, and now what's he going to do now? He's going to go down to Walmart and make $7 an hour with no health care and no benefits? Well, you know what? If you're making $20 to $22 an hour, you got some skills. Either that, or you got a union job and you slept your way to the top, or I don't mean like slept with somebody. I mean like you slept on the job and did nothing and got to the top of the pay scale just skating by. It's a common epidemic among union shops, and I can't wait for some union guy to get on here and argue with me, because I've been in unions, and several of them, and now I manage guys that are in a union, and I know what kind of crap unions pull sometimes, a lot of times. But back to the point. You should have some skills if you got $20 to $25 an hour job that had full benefits and 40 hours a week. And second of all, why did you lose that job? Are we still on this old shtick that all these jobs are getting shipped overseas? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't the $20 to $25 an hour jobs that are getting shipped overseas. It was the manufacturing jobs, the jobs that you stand there and you take this part and you put it together with this part and you send it down the line to the next guy. And then you take this part and you put it together with this part and you send it down the line next. You do that over and over all day long. This doesn't take an MBA. You don't have to graduate from Harvard to do that job. That's why they're sending those jobs overseas, because instead of paying you $150, $200 a day, they can go to China and pay somebody $150 to $200 a month and give that person a higher standard of living than you got over here to begin with. And this was all about the 1990s, when President Clinton decided that we needed to bring up the level of living. We had increased the standard of living of people around the world to get with ours. Well, the problem is that it backfired, and it's bringing down the standard of living for the United States of America. You wanted your cake and eat it too, and you got old crappy cake. And the second thing that bothers me about your statement is that you're entirely pessimistic. What are you going to do now? Go to Walmart? What are you going to do now? Go find a job that pays a quarter of that? Have you looked around at the jobs that are out there lately? If you're making $20 to $25 an hour, you got experience in what you're doing. I looked on Craigslist in Ohio. Okay, Ohio has like almost 12% unemployment right now. We're way over the national average. And they're hiring, and all of these people want 2 years experience, 3 years experience. If you got it, if you were making $20 to $25 an hour, you've got 2 or 3 years experience. A lot of these jobs paying, I seen one that was paying $40 an hour. A manufacturing job that was paying $40 an hour. Quality controls that is paying $20, $25 an hour. What do you want? You want to? The problem is that most people want to sit in an office all day and do nothing that they think that their boss did the whole time, not realizing that their boss probably put in twice the hours that they did. Myself, being a boss, I'm there an hour before my guys get to work in the morning, and I'm there at least an hour, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, until after they go home. I work a minimum of 50 to 55 hours a week on a slow week. Rest of the time, I'm working 60 plus hours a week. So, I'm giving up time with my family. I'm giving up time watching Little League, Pee Wee football. I'm giving up time helping with homework. I'm giving up time so that I can save some money for my retirement. So that when my kids are old enough, I can give them a little something, a little boost that my parents couldn't give me. I want to give them when I die. One of them can have my house, or they can have my car, or whatever. Not so you can take it and distribute it to somebody who doesn't want to work, or who can't work, or who won't work, because they need a social life, which is another thing you brought up. You'd have no social life because you'd work. Well, you know what? Take your social life and stick it up your butt, because if anybody's entitled to the money that I made in my life, was my kids who lost time with me so that I could make that money to give to them one day. So if you want my money, if you want more of mine because I put in more time and more effort and lost more time with the people that I loved, so that I could make a better life for my family, if you think somehow some people somewhere are entitled to it, I'll tell you what. Why don't you stop by my house and come get it? All right? Stop on over here and come get it from me. Don't be taking no pansy route, going through the government and trying to make a law so that they have to do it at the gunpoint by police with the threat of jail. No, 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 no. Come here and do it yourself. Be a man. All right? And how dare you tell me that I'm the problem with America? I'm not wealthy. I'm not even one of these people that they're talking about. They're going to want to raise my tax. I don't make $1 million a year, or whatever it is, $150,000 a year now that Obama wants to tax at a higher rate. I don't make that yet, but I plan on it someday. Because you know why? Because I'm going to work my ass off so that I can do it. So you want to spread something? You want to spread something? Spread my work ethic. Okay, spread the fact that I'm sitting here with strep throat for the last 3 days and I haven't missed a minute of work. Okay, spread the fact that I'm giving up time with my family so that someday down the line they'll have something that I didn't have growing up, and they'll appreciate it a lot more because they saw what kind of effort went into getting that for them, not because some two-bit loser somewhere is going to smoke it away on weed. And this is another thing. Every time a conservative such as myself brings up the welfare people, the welfare problem, well, we just don't know. We just don't know. They'd all just work. Really? Okay. Because I do know some welfare people, as a matter of fact. I know my son's mother has been on welfare for the last 15 years. Okay, there was supposed to be that 2-year limit, but no, she's been on it for 15 years, and her husband right with her. All right, every couple of years they get a new TV. Most recently, they got the 55-inch flat screen TV a couple weeks ago. They got a fish tank that'd hold a frickin' shark. They got new furniture, nice cars, all paid for by the hardworking taxpayer. Okay. And the last job that the husband had lasted 7 days, 7 work days, before he got fired because he was sleeping on the job. Okay, so, yeah, okay, is there people out there that have fallen on hard times and want to get back on their feet? Sure, I have no trouble whatsoever helping that guy, that girl out, whatever. But don't for 1 second pretend like the other people don't exist. And you gonna tell me again that I'm the problem? It's my comment. It's my comment that makes you embarrassed to be an American when you can look around at all the people sucking off the system and they don't make you embarrassed to be an American. You can look at all the people who think that somehow they're owed something because they were born here or because somehow they managed to get across the border, and I'm the problem, dude. I gotta tell you, dude, it's your video. It's your sticking up for these people who think that they deserve something just because they landed on the right piece of land when they were born. That's the problem. And you want to say, you don't know if there's a solution. There's not. There's not. No matter where no matter how much money you pay somebody, there's always going to be a guy that works and earns that money, and there's going to be the guy that does nothing all day long. All right, and I've seen it, dude. I've seen it from all ends of the pay scale. How hard somebody works doesn't depend on how much you pay them, all right? But how hard you work, the company is expecting it to be based on how much they pay you. You said you don't know if you're not part of the solution, but that's the problem. Well, I think you got to do a better job defining the problem, because you started off in your video talking about some kind of God titty, Easter bunny titty, and this titty and that titty that you're weaned off of. Well, there's another one you forgot to mention. It's a really important one. It's the you owe me one. The you owe me titty. Most of us get off of that about the time we move out of our parents' house, about 18, 19 years old. But, some people are still sucking on that bad boy, and they're getting pretty fat because of it. You also mentioned that you voted in every election lately, but you've never felt good about your vote. You've never felt like you're voting for the guy that wants to make this a better place. Just a suggestion. Get involved. Get involved. Find some local people to vote for. Almost every town has a Democrat or Republican headquarters, either in it or nearby, or county. In your county, I'm sure they have one somewhere. Go get a brochure. Most of the time, you can get the person's phone number and talk to them. Call them up. anybody that's running for any office would be more than happy to talk to anybody that wants to listen. That's why they're running for office. They want to represent you. They want to hear your views as much as you want to hear theirs. So, if you want to feel good about your vote, get to know the person or people that you're voting for. It's not that hard. Now, I know you're not going to call Barack Obama and get his take because we should have it by now. But the most things that affect you the most are going to be local anyways. Not the biggest impact, but you're going to be more often affected by local politics than you are national politics. So I used to feel the same way. I used to think, I'm just checking this stinking box. I don't even know who this guy is or who this girl is. But I checked the box because I like their name or because they did this one thing one time and I thought that was a pretty good idea. Well, that's a stupid way to do it. That's like buying a car without kicking the tires. I mean, you got to take it for a test drive. You got to, you find out what kind of gas it takes. So get involved, dude. It's not hard. It's not. But at the end of the day, you're expecting this person to build you some kind of utopia, and it's not going to happen. You can't happen because we're a society that invites everybody. That's part of the American elitism. We want you here, no matter who you are. All right, now. I differ from several of my conservative friends in that I believe that gays should be allowed to be married. And this fight's going to happen. It's going to keep happening until everybody is allowed to be married. And I agree with that. I agree that it should keep going on. Did we get it wrong? Sure. Are we trying to make it right? Absolutely. We're not the only country that's struggling with this. There's countries all over the world. There's some countries that ain't never going to get it right. Saudi Arabia. You're not even allowed to not be a Muslim there. Okay? So it's not about a particular person or people in America, us redneck hillbillies with our Bibles and guns being better than Joe Englishman over there with his tattoos and his piercings and his punk rock music. No, dude, it's about the ideal that we're going to screw up. We are going to screw up. We're going to get some things wrong. But in the end, it's going to be made right through hard work, through perseverance, through friendships even, through compromise, through partnerships. It's whatever is wrong, we're going to strive to make it right. Now, maybe some other countries can say that, but you couple that with all the other things that we take and we do better, then that's the ideal of American exceptionalism. And to finish your video, you go on about some kid who comes home and says he really wants to take a shower, and his dad says, "Don't you give me no crap about no running water. We got a stove. Isn't that the great stove over there?" Well, that's great. That's a great story. That's awesome. Could you fill me in on what problem I'm ignoring? Because I'm getting the feeling that that's what you're getting at. Is there some kind of major flaw in the American ideal that I'm missing? And it seems to me that you're acting like you're elite because you know what it is and I don't. And I get this a lot from liberals, and I'm not saying you are a liberal. I'm just saying you obviously seen I had a problem with Godlesshayes because he's an elitist who thinks he knows everything and won't let you get your say in edgewise. I believe you're probably different. I mean, I hope this conversation goes on, but tell me what it is. What am I missing? What is an entrenched problem with the foundation, with our founding documents, with the rules, with the way we go about settling grievances? Tell me, what major flaw am I missing in either a designed system or a default system in the United States? Tell me what it is, and we can have a great conversation about it. I'm all ears, and I'm willing to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Just tell me what the stove is. Tell me what brand of the stove is, and I'll stop talking about the water. And that comment that I made tongue-in-cheek is based on a lot of the arguments I've been given lately. Godlesshayes, again, being probably the main one who uses those arguments. Did I over-exemplify? Did I personify him a little bit? Sure. But
it doesn't take away from how idiotic it sounds when I hear them. It's just as idiotic as it sounds when you heard it. So, once again, you tell me what the stove is, and we'll have a great conversation about it. I hope. As I think this is the third video of yours that I've been fodder for. So apparently, I get your goat somehow. Let's see. Let's see what it is that that separates us, and do what Americans are supposed to do. Talk about it, find the middle ground, or compromise. Because middle ground and compromise are actually two opposites, even though some people confuse those sometimes. But let's see what we got. I do thank you for making 3 videos now to me. I'm sorry it took this long to be the one to for this to be the one that I responded to. I do got a couple other video responses that I owe people, but I didn't expect a comment that I left on somebody else's video to be fodder for a video, especially of yours. But anyways, I'll just end there. So thanks for watching, and remember that true peace begins with how we treat our children. God bless.